Okay, we're back. We just did... Grand Prix, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Boo Cinema, because it took, like, the one...
That was the it took 2 with him, so I guess it's back to knockout 2.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. I love the Wicked Wasp. I do wish they would let you sort the costumes a little bit better. Grand Vizier Wario is pretty good, too.
Okay, when you fill out character costume sorting it like this literally does bunch every costume around a character.
This one amuses me because it's just Wario in a wasp outfit.
For some reason. The pirate is actually straight out from WarioWare.
Yes. I've been Grand Vizier Wario in a little bit. Do a variety. Yeah, because that's done. Yep. Okay. The margins are too tight. So, because it's best to stay in the middle, you lose way more items. Going to the side, unless you're able to pull marginally ahead, it's not worth the risk. Because any item I get on the side is not going to save me unless I get incredibly lucky. Because especially that one side, because it's a single fucking item. I need all the doubles. They really do that?
Oh, so it was right in your ass.
Fuck you, bud. Saved it, and we're good.
You know, with this being Wario Stadium, I am amazed the dinner and Riggett, so like only Wario can win. Because let's be honest, he would.
The thing about the Knockout Tours, and so many of the Knockout Tours, and so much of our commentary, especially if I'm basically cutting, because I had the same problem on 100 with this Knockout Tour. Haha.
Ooh.
It is basically getting into first, and then maintaining first.
And because of the road speed, unless we get just something absolutely stupid, it was like...
So much open road, I'm going to start gaining more and more of a lead because you keep your coins. Because Knockout Tour is one...
You keep your coins, and don't if you do the rewind, right, don't you also keep your acceleration? Because you technically don't stop.
You're technically holding acceleration as long as you're holding acceleration, but...
So, and that was the max coins on a large portion of this
being dirt road? Yeah.
The one small potential...
Oh my god.
Speak of the devil. Ooh, ooh,
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I was going to make a...
Oh, damn it.
I was going to make a joke about the one other potential problem. Isn't this the Knockout Tour that has the one, like, really sharp curve in it?
I don't remember. Damn it. The problem with, like, the commentary, so much of stuff if I'm hyper focusing, it's just, oh, let me bitch about the RNG. As a follow-up to some other stuff we had said, because when I started getting a lead and could focus a little bit more, I wanted to say it, where it was basically now 100% confirmed in the Sonic. All the DLC and shit is basically there. Because
so I'm not sure if it is everything or just...
It's most...
Even if it is just the SpongeBob stuff, that is still DLC that is just in the game, because Sega basically issued a warning. If you hack to get the DLC for free and early, your ass is grass and you will basically be banned.
Yes.
And if they issue a warning like that, that fucking means that even if it is just the SpongeBob shit, which I know if it is proven as that, people are going to say, oh, it was just like the first pack or something, but it's still, they shouldn't have, like, I'm going to use the logic you people use for Nintendo. They shouldn't have to issue this warning because that content should not already be in the game. That content should not be there in the game. And Knights is also still missing, even though Knights is on the back of the box.
Okay.
But you all have such a hate boner for...
Hold on.
But you all have such a hate boner for...
Oh my god!
You all have such a hate boner for this game, you're going to let Sega fuck you instead. Even though what the say... even though
Hold
Sonic
on, we're
is...
in a straightaway.
Triple the green shells. And there they go. Oh my god, they're still going! And I do find that so funny, and I'm just done with people's bullshit, so I am just going to choose...
And in a shocking photo finish, the winner is Green Shell.
Wasn't that an old as fuck, like... Wasn't that an...
Oh, that's a bullshit!
Wasn't that an old as fuck, like, Newgrounds animation or something where it's like... The winner was considered the, like, blue shell or something?
Where are we going? Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh jeez, but damn it.
Ooh.
I let off the gas.
Hey,
Because I'm also trying to maintain the minimum amount of drifting.
Hey, we're back, we're back on asphalt, meaning
on the road again!
Blocked worldwide.
We're on the road again!
Are we in the world of Mandom?
Damn it. You say blocked worldwide, but does Disney really care about that movie?
I thought that was a licensed song, so wouldn't it not be...
No. I'm... Alright. Thought I was singing the... Might have the... Alright. I thought I was singing the Goofy movie song. It's similar to the one thing.
Because that's why I made the Mandom joke, because that's a JoJo reference.
Okay. Alright. We're maintaining.
But anyway, I find it really funny that people have like such a hate boner for this game. It's like, your people's answer to not supporting the like $1 million company is going to support a different $1 million company.
Doing debatably...
Oh! No, not debatably, objectively worse, because it's on this DLC.
You'll see again.
That thing you all busted Capcom's balls for. And
oh, Pianta.
Why the fuck did we get Pianta in the fucking ice area?
Oh, damn it.
What sense does that make?
They're random.
I thought they were random.
No,
so
no. Hold on. Damn it. Actually drift.
I thought it was random.
No. And yes, and no. Hold on. Slow your roll. Let me talk about the game for a minute. It is random where anything can appear anywhere. But it is themed to areas where things that are themed are ever so slightly more likely, and unless something stupid happens, I win, and it literally was my first try when I got past the first gate. Oh, no, it's random, except it favors things a little bit. But because it favors things does not mean, oh, no, we're in a snow area, so it'll be a snowman. Because they wanted it to be random. So you can get anything anywhere. People just noticed, oh, we're in the snow area, so it's a snowman more.
Because we were in a
Found
snowbound
land.
It's funny because it's the DK track.
That should be.
You just passed the one that was really close. It wasn't like a 3 stars. Because you just passed the one guy.
You have the rule. You pass the gate first. It really does not matter if you passing the gate for. Ooh, we drove 1,500 kilometers.
Yay.
Yay. Damn it. Thank you, Grand Vizier Wario. I love the Wicked Wasp, but I thought, hey, if we're going to keep using Wario, I could change up his costumes every so often, because I love... As
long as we don't pick Road Ruffian, that one makes me genuinely uncomfortable.
Damn it, Gerson.
I don't like this costume.
Why?
You know exactly why.
Need to end off in a minute.
Yes.
Now, hon, to talk about things again without rambling too long. First of all, that was literally one attempt when I actually got past the first gate. After that, I did flawlessly. It was literally just the first gate. So all my failed attempts are going to be not passing the first gate and... Oh, damn it. Hold on. So many things to say. I show failed attempts to show what fucked me over, but all the failed attempts in that video, this video, are literally not getting to the first gate in first place. I passed the first gate, and I win. To comment on the Sonic thing, because we were talking about that, since we said something, and it's hard to hold a point when I'm resetting, and I wanted to talk. Because Sega was basically, yeah, if you unlock stuff you're not supposed to have, we'll super ban you. Which is good. The thing is, though, you're all rallying behind a game that has basically revived what people back in the day called on-disc DLC.
Or because it can also be abbreviated to a DLC, it's not downloadable content, it's disc-locked content.
Yes. Because it was on the disc.
Yes.
But because you have a hate boner for Nintendo, and this Mario Kart, and the Switch 2 in general, you have to go, oh, it's okay, but it's like, why does Sega get to basically, oh, we're just gonna hide, basically...
Especially because, again, I will continue to point out, Knights is on the back of the box, and Knights is not in the game yet. They put a character on the box that's not even in the game. I think that would literally be false advertising,
Next
technically.
time I'll probably use Road Ruffian.
Or you could not.
We must.
No.
Yes. Do we have all of Wario's costumes?
I think, if not all, we're only missing like one.
Hold on. Just want to figure that out right quick.
Oh, yeah, we do.
Okay. That's literally... Damn it. All I came in here for. I just wanted to make sure. Anyway. I don't want to ramble. Oh, that's a fun remix. This game has amazing music, but so far the end of like every video, because we're making these single recordings for Sanctity, because I don't want to sit here and record multiple things if I get griefed for like 30-40 minutes. People rallied behind Sonic when Old Disc DLC was basically something that years ago...
Like, that became part of the reason a bunch of games would start to have a day one update, as the day one update would normally be for the season pass.
Yes.
But this has the content literally just sitting there in the game.
But people just need to bring Nintendo down a peg. Because people basically are so butthurt.
And the other funny thing was, that is people, because of the, the Sonic being on PC, and it's super easy to mod and, like, hack games on PC, people are also discovering, like, tons of unused content. A bunch of characters apparently have unused voice lines, and it seems like because Miku is the first of basically the free, like, DLC characters, because all the free ones are going to be Sega's IPs, Miku actually has animations that it seems to show they did consider her actually having rival conversations with other characters.
Yes.
And Super Sonic also has scrapped rival animations, meaning that Super Sonic was seemingly going to be a normal character and not basic, like a super overpowered thing that's only usable in single player, because with it being Super Sonic, you're literally invincible.
People rallied behind a game that does something that people generally didn't fucking like back in the day.
Yes.
But we're in a world now, because people have to ride such a hatred for Nintendo, that we basically have people just ignoring the Sonic because, oh, it doesn't matter, it's still like the bestest game ever.
I will be fair and say I didn't watch the video because the man is a grifter slop channel and I refused to give him any AdSense, but like one slop channel did actually make a video seemingly making fun of people using this type of argument, saying that these scenarios are not comparable at all, even though they are, because you all bitched and whined and moaned about the Pokemon and the DK having DLC that was obviously cut out to be sold back to you, meaning you're all sucking off the game that cuts out DLC to be sold back to you, because the DLC is there in the game, and if you're on PC, you can play SpongeBob right the fuck now.
Mm-hmm.
And unlock not just the character, again, fucking everything, the character, the car, of course, what?
Small encoder error, but the footage is done. And it was only one encoder error when we were sitting here bitching.
Meaning at most it might be the screen went blank during this.
No. Encoder error can cause either glitchy artifacts, footage skipping, or frame drops. Though if the frames are dropping in the middle of us...
In the middle of a menu, it's not a problem.
That's less of a problem. And even... Hold on. If it went glitchy, sorry about that. I just noticed the random encoder error, but it evened out. And it was quick, and it was so much of a non-issue, because we were just sitting here in the menu. Because it is working, it's not like it stopped recording. Because I was trying to wrap up, and I saw that encoder error, and I was like, really?
Any final point about the Sonic, besides the whole, the DLC shit is there, the other thing I find absolutely hilarious, and this actually was a thing people were getting traction on with the Sonic, which I find extremely funny, is everyone complained about the whole shit, like the online and the Mario Kart has, like, the intermissions are more common than, like, people just want to do regular races. And then the Sonic has online events, which before I make my main point, again, all of you sit here and bitch and whine and moan about FOMO and shit, but those online events are literally the definition of FOMO, because they are limited time online events that technically give you exclusive, like, stickers and emotes and shit. So if you want basically to have that content, well, one, if you're on consoles and you want that content, that means you need to pay for online, because that was something people threw at the Pokemon, is that the, like, Mega Stones for the 3 Kalos starters technically are behind a $20 pay wall, because you need Switch Online, you need online to participate in
And apparently, supposedly, with the Mega Stones, they're not only behind a paywall. I need to figure out where people are getting this, and I don't want to sit here and ramble. Supposedly, even when you pay, you don't just get the Mega Stones. Apparently, you have...
Because you have to partake in online, people think it is going to be you have to rank up, like, once online.
Yeah. Because apparently that was kind of inferred somewhere, or people were acting like that was...
My point...
Yeah, that's what
My point basically is, one, this is a game that's doing that, where you technically have things that are only obtainable via online and shit.
Yes.
And because of that, and because of wanting to switch to, like, physical version, we're basically going to have none of that shit unless they rerun events later in the game's life. But my main point was those online events in the Sonic. If basically the online event is running, you can't do standard races, you have to partake in the event, and I find that so funny because of everyone bitching about Nintendo in this game forcing people to play their way. Meanwhile, the Sonic is forcing you to play their way. What if I don't care about Miku? What if I don't want the Miku emotes from the one event? Well, too bad, motherfucker. If you're going to play online for that 3-day period, you have to, like... you have to partake in that. Also, as time has gone on, people, and again, this is just so funny with people bitching about shit with like Nintendo and stuff for years. That game's netcode is also apparently terrible, and as the game has gone on and gotten like more players, the online servers apparently constantly crash, and it's like impossible to connect with your friends, especially if you are trying to do crossplay.
Yes. Because, quick internet point, I know we often ramble, but it's just, I beat the thing decently fast, so people often forget about something, because I've had this argument before, and Sean and Brian were also on the side of this one argument, because this doesn't fucking exist, and I think I should, since Curzon was just talking about online, like, stamp this out right the fuck now, because I am so tired of this, because anyone that fell for this basically got suckered into believing something that when you think about it really does not make sense. Sean and Brian, back in the day when talking about online, had an offhanded comment where Sean said he didn't mind paying for like PlayStation Plus and stuff, because he basically said he knew that guaranteed that PlayStation had like good online, and that Nintendo, especially because the Switch had started charging money, that Nintendo should be ashamed for charging money, and yet their online is awful, unlike, in his mind, the PlayStation, where he paid money and that guaranteed good online, because Sean fell for the grift that Sony hosts a magic Omni server that every PlayStation game that has online is literally hosted on this Omni server. That is not a thing. There is no Omni server. Oh, the online that Sony technically backs with the money you give them, so that they're not lying, but they're not telling the truth. That money goes into their servers for like downloads. That's all it does.
It supports the PlayStation Store servers, not online multiplayer servers.
Because
so the Sony statement technically is half true, but only for the PlayStation Store.
No, money supports servers, but people have this idea in their head that there's a magic Omni server that all online runs off. Because people's argument, but if there was no server, how come Nintendo is so ass, but Sony is so good? Because better netcode?
And that's a funny thing I hadn't realized until talking about it, because people have been bitching about the intermission so much. I have never seen once people complain basically about this game having like connection issues or like lag or anything.
Oh no, motherfucker,
no. I know what you're going to say. That where there was that thing of people talking about not being able to find a game.
Not that! But I don't want to sit here and ramble. No, people hated this game because they finally patched up that other thing.
Why do they, like, patch out?
Kind of patch. This game was super notorious. I forget what fans call it, but it's basically desync item ghosting. Because everyone...
Oh, the Sonic has that same problem.
Yeah, I know. Yes, but people are super butthurt. Because most Mario Karts have that item desync ghosting, where two people can basically due to the way the game reads things, you can hit people with items online and keep the items. Meaning someone gets
It's not exactly the same, but Sonic has a similar problem where people will be hit with an item and it just does not register on your screen.
No, this is a similar idea, but in extreme cases, you basically imagine you're playing the game and you're dragging a banana.
Yeah.
Someone rolls up behind you and they smack into your banana, and due to the lag in the game trying to guesstimate, you keep the banana,
Yes.
and that person spins out. They are slowly patching most of that. And I don't want to sit here and ramble because we do need to end. My point, to finish that quick server point, because this drives me fucking crazy, and because we were rambling, I'm going to say it. There is no magical online Omni server. Companies handle online usually with their own servers if they have one. Sony and Microsoft rarely, if ever, offer a server to people. But when Sony and Microsoft say that money goes to server maintenance, people, oh, it must be the online. I trust them with my money. No, they're maintaining their shop servers. They're not maintaining online. And if a company on the PlayStation and Xbox seems to have better online, it's because they either have a dedicated server or better netcode.
Yes.
But you all fell for a grift, because I straight out got annoyed years ago when Sean, at least I know for PlayStation my money goes to stable online. Nintendo's online is so ass, but like Sony, when I'm playing online, it's flawless, like chef's kiss. I know my money is guaranteed for their like online server, except there is no online server. Their money goes to maintaining their shop. That's all they're doing. You people have been tricked into thinking there's a magical online Omni server that every like game on the PlayStation that has online is hosted on this Omni server. That's not a thing. That is not a thing. Third parties have to handle their own shit. Sony, maybe if they have funding in something, some of that money might go to one of Sony's multiplayer servers if they have a hand in something. But that would be a like first or second party type thing.
Yeah.
I can fucking tell you, Sony is not.
Just it.
I'm finishing the points, like, because we were talking about like Sega. Sony is not going, hey, Sega, here's our Sony server. No, Sega's self-hosting. We can end off because I did. I just had to go on that rant because people fell for the grift. Now, with that said, I'm not saying better netcode and some extra server use isn't a good thing or doesn't exist. I just want people to get it out of their heads that Sony and Microsoft have this magic Omni server in which all online games are hosted on, because that's not a thing. So I'm going to end. So, when I show my failed attempts, it's literally just passing the first gate failures, where I don't pass the first gate. With that said, we rambled enough. So, ooh, that's a really good remix too. Truncade through everything I do now. Make this fast, as I've been doing lately. I stole the one guy's joke where I'm basically the like vagabond and beggar on the street corner shaking a little cup full of change. Can you spare a like? Maybe comment and subscribe, please. Gonna jingle my cup. Wish I had a cup full of change so I could actually jingle that for a audible bit, but like, joking aside, if you enjoyed the video or any of our other videos, The whole like, comment, and subscribe thing helps tremendously. Subscriptions go a long way, but likes and comments count as engagement. And if more people like, comment, and subscribe, that will promote the channel more, so we can get more growth, but I will call it desperate, like, begging on the street corner, because that's basically what I'm doing. And with that said, in the pinned comment and the video description are a bunch of social media links. You can use those sites. Yes, some of those social media links are cesspools, but if you want to contact me, that really does help a lot as well. I just promote all over the internet, because otherwise I basically can't grow the channel. So again, you do what you gotta do. Mixed in with the social media links is a link to my Patreon. It's under my name. Lowest tier is $1 and you get videos early. Other tiers should be self-explanatory. I'm not doing Patreon exclusive stuff. I just put videos on Patreon early, but the stuff on Patreon ends up on YouTube later on. I would rather be poor than nickel and dime people, but every little bit helps. And if you really do feel so inclined, the money would be nice. I've been looking at some hard drives and a UPS battery backup and some other stuff, but I don't want to make you feel obligated. So with all the quick outro stuff out of the way, this has been the 150cc video. This has been the 150cc video for the Acorn Rally. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I hope I will see you all next time. So as always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everybody. I hope you come back someday. See you later. it's time for the question of the day and my overall thoughts on the topic. So anyway, I actually have 3 questions, but I'll try to keep all of these short. First of all, to reiterate the one thing I was bitching about, how many of you think this specific knockout tour really is one of the worst, if not the worst, knockout tour for getting the best rank in, because the beginning is way too RNG dependent, because the margins are too tight, you don't get enough fucking items. So you need a lot of luck. You can't win with skill. If you don't get lucky, you sit here for potentially hours. This is why I find this topic to be interesting, because this knockout tour fucking sucks. But I think I said everything I wanted to on this specific topic. So anyway, moving on to the next question. We were talking about the Sonic. How many of you agree with the point we were trying to make, that it's somewhat hypocritical and stupid to support Sega when they basically revived on-disc DLC, which over a decade ago, most of you motherfuckers generally saw that as a bad thing, but you have such a huge anti-Nintendo hate boner, you're willing to look past Sega doing that nonsense, when that nonsense shouldn't have been done ever. The fact you could hack the game and get the DLC shows Sega was more than likely mandated to gut content to sell it back to you. I don't care if they were forced to do that because of Viacom. This is still on-disc DLC, and you should all be more pissed off that the DLC was in the game and that you could hack the game and get the DLC for free. Where Nintendo, even with their DLC, it generally wasn't on the fucking disc, as it were. I know the Switch and the Switch 2 use the game cards, so that's not a disc. I'm not calling it a disc, and because it is a older word, I will say cartridge, because that's a good explanation to explain what they are, even though Nintendo calls them game cards, and Nintendo has not used the word cartridge in years. Game card is a good explanation because these cartridges are close to SD cards, but cartridge is a good way to explain it, even though that sounds a lot more like games from the 80s or the Game Boy and DS era games. Even the 3DS was a similar type of cartridge, and I'm doing air quotes. And I'm getting way off topic here, but overall, I think I said everything I wanted to on this topic. You should all be more mad. And whatever we call the Switch and Switch 2 games somewhat doesn't matter, but officially they are game cards. But a cartridge is a decent enough explanation, and obviously it's not a fucking disc, and we would be aware of that. We own a Switch, and we clearly own a Switch 2. And we own the physical, so I've seen the games, I know it's not a disc. This Mario Kart copy that we recorded is a physical copy, and you should all be aware of that. But anyway, I'm starting to ramble, and I need to quickly ask the third question, which is likely the most controversial question and topic of all, but without further ado, I'm doing this. How many of you also wish that people would stop giving in to the magical, all-encompassing omni-server bullshit? Because that false narrative pisses me off. Because me and Sean, and Brian, but it was mostly Sean, had that argument years ago, and yeah, I'm still hung up on that. because it is false, where Sean made a statement that he wanted to give Sony money for online because he knew giving them money, the money was at least going to servers and online would always be good. But that is not a thing. Some of that money might go to some dedicated stuff Sony has a stake in, but there isn't a magical Omni server for every multiplayer game on the PlayStation. Companies still need to basically self-host if they are hosting a server at all. So I wish people would stop supporting Sony and Microsoft because you all got bamboozled. All that money does is go to their personal servers for the scattershot stuff they have a stake in, but in general, it's usually just money being thrown at the servers that host their online stores and deal with their personal online functionality. That's all that is. It's just networking for their main stuff. It's not for this magical Omni server. The only reason a lot of games seemed more stable on the PlayStation, certain companies just had better netcode than Nintendo. And I can admit to that. Nintendo's netcode was commonly kind of trash, but they also never even tried to do any servers. And peer-to-peer makes a lot of Nintendo's netcode worse, but a bunch of PlayStation games were also peer-to-peer. And there are plenty of examples of games on the PlayStation where the online is ass. If a magical Omni server existed, that shouldn't be the case. Except it was games Sean wasn't playing. Same goes for the Xbox. So I just wish people would stop and realize you all got bamboozled. And I don't want to ramble, but I'm going to ramble just a little bit longer to make my final point and end off here. All Sony and Microsoft did was charge you for online, trick you into thinking there was a magical Omni server, and you all fell for it because in general their netcode was better than Nintendo, but a bunch of companies also have shitty netcode. The Sonic was pretty notorious for having some online problems, and when the Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the game, was re-released, online multiplayer was very shitty, and I know people were saying it was abysmal on PlayStation. So if an Omni server existed, the PlayStation shouldn't have had any hitching or problems. You need to realize you all got tricked. These companies are charging for nothing, and all that does is give them money to maintain their own shop servers and some account stuff. And Sony keeps getting hacked and stuff, so you can't even say their security is super good. I just wish people would get over this nonsense because Sean and Brian fell for it, and that pissed me off because they were spouting lies, and I hate Sean and Brian having this weird kind of brand elitism when it comes to like Sony and Microsoft because they fell for a huge blatant fucking lie when in reality you all got tricked. And yes, I will acknowledge a lot of Nintendo's netcode was bad, and a lot of that was because peer-to-peer was common because Nintendo didn't really do dedicated servers, but the PlayStation and Xbox ecosystems don't have a magical Omni server like you think they do. Some games get a dedicated server, but that's usually on the company to provide it and not Sony and Microsoft. It's not the magical utopia that everyone acts like, which basically goes like this. Oh, you're giving us money. We have this magical Omni server where we personally host the multiplayer data for every game on our system. Unlike Nintendo, not a thing, never a thing, you all got tricked, moving on. With that said, so I can end this, you can leave your thoughts, opinions, and answers in the comments, or you can leave them on social media. All of my social media links, as well as my Discord links, are in the video description. Now, as always, I need to be a shill for a minute. If you subscribe to the channel, if you follow me on social media, that really helps our communities grow. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I hope I will see you all next time. So as always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everybody. I hope you come back someday. See you later.